మాస్టర్ బ్లెస్సింగ్స్, మాస్టర్ నమస్కారం, మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. ఎం కోర్స్ కంటిన్యూషన్. ప్లీజ్ మాస్టర్. హైడ్రోపియా as instructions. Head dropia, very thing, high howl, heights. Oh, how very thing, consults, segment, answer, hydropia. Step on is halt, Brendic. High, consult, stop, restorings. High, airy state. Buddh own consulting on wears very a grooting. He nervous disease cystocrape. Once more bly harding soul warding disease my Astoria. Consulting everything cons astral. Good physical stopping controlia. As once more my selfing. Then the travelling mental consolia. One touch my nerves darting. Every harding astrolia. This is your buddhic working very force. Astrolian hours to nerves. Impartial very Brendic answers. By very slow answered in tropical. Controlling of the storing very a particle my point every answer. One point controlling his power answer. Everything point this is whole stopping you answer. Very good dropping when the stopping. My intellects very good working hours. Then the full hearting you point. Very selfing Brendic my heart answer. By ideas consults everything hydropia. Answer good anything astral instruction. System rolling anybody everything. Astral particle poisons hours. Storians Grendic hen Wardic. Cystographical Nendic bark health. Bark heath. Stop consult idea Europe. Once more consult Hendy covers high hog Crolia. This is my consult. Then the big growth Acrolia. System as to crepe from the good very but consults. Ho valve the system very Grendic point. You are the narrow plane very consults. Anything harv up my persons. That halt that belting high gropia you consulting. By paranirvanic persons high gropia. Irup higher stage consulting answer very breathing adjustment. Good everything Mahaparanirvanic. Astroglopia that consulting answer. That very stage good in authority. Point that strike 1 point. Persons storing bowel system consults. That 2 points answer. The nervous system works warding console to vision. Your nerves answer very breathing. Whole nerves complete portions. Aura practical good Shishopia answers whole point good 1 point. Good that circle heart breathing. Grew up Gropia consulting whole brain whole point everything. 1 point answers good everything. System grown store up particle. You row persons astrocropia that consulting my whole ansel. Direct persons law my MTA my persons. You astral you Mahaparanirvanic stage portions ansel very free ansels. Consults by higher stage brain slow point. Hen drag cripe persons grandic by ansel. System consults howls brandic. System high hendic good very in anything point. High howls drendic height began consulting hendic astum grostia. Hinduk consulting ansel point anything. Hours slow ring bowl stropical. Hem hours things astrally vision for motion. High clope good circle. Consulting ansel tendic portion very every consulting. Prodisic him traham consulting. Kal thing touch pridey slow guarding. Soul sight consulting how as to gropia high warding. Buth consulting ansel every brandic. System joy cyst sly very sloth consulting ward. Hindu consulting very all the consulting. Hem that good guard warding press by force. By consulting very brandic high ansel very halting consults permission. Imparticle in example warding very consulting point. Very heart styling consult very impartment. That contite systorium very how imparticle very circle. Tendic force particle. Hindu calcity imparticle ansel very by strong. Very by storing. This is the consult ansel vary from the Sista Hygrophia. This is the paranirvanic process. Her Hendik good consult nerves astroglopia. Show slows Grendic imparticle. Fashion him by stropical ansel storia. That consulting warding hath consulting. Very good my kundalini high stop. It this is 1 minute rises. This is tropical consulting point. Once more, how very thing songs shows. This is astral low nerves strike stopping very you consulting. This is two nerves very article brain. This is strike starting high consult. From this is Ramacharaka ansel very good any point consult ansel when the very things astral for motion halt consulting higher stage very imparticle. From this is hate as tell controlling power thing very halt. Souls by consulting by shown source. The person's instructions highest stage ansel. Very Grendic ansel soul point. System bowl hey nothing good hate nothing halt. Storing this is ansel very slow point. This is astropical point. Yet I consulting point. This is as storing. Master CVV Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Master CVV Namaskaram. 201 name. Continuation M course. Please, Master. Height is good. I bowel system strike ording. This is very good consulting. Then the portion higher stage by astroglopia. Heart Brendic by Ansel. Sisto whole by Ara very force consulting. One starring this is 1 point. 2 consulting by whole Ara. This is 10 starring consulting. Every whole lighting whole consulting. Our warding very golden light very whole Brendic. This is my warding very Grendic high consulting. Higher stage force consulting my very halting. One starring you both consulting. This is high gallop. One warding now consulting. The step very good ansel hate Brendic my Rogersia, Astrograph by Hendrik Gold Point. This is how point building. This is high selfing my wording. Storing both any wording. This is high systag barthing. Whole halting very consulting higher stage. Whole point consulting this wording. Astrogropia 1 consulting this is by Ansel. Astrogropia 1 consulting this is by Ansel. Higher stage very halt stop it. This is good very unconscious. This is conscious. This is point you are understanding very good halting. This is my point very instructions. This is Australia very hot breathing. This is once more consulting halt very halt how very starring. This is higher stage instructions point very consolation. This is the rolting very halt ground much hay. Whole much hall starring. This is bly stop it vary from the higher astor. This is one calcity higher stropia. Heart brendic very circle how very slow consolation. This is wording very halt. This is my strong very higher glopia. This is by Ara 1 consulting. This is how are you do this step. This is Ansel very good nerves. That is the very halting good point. This is the whole Grendic very whole very soul consulting. This is the once more article very bowels step. This is high importion hearty consult very hate consulti by astrological very high birding. This is one consulti. This is very good healthy impartment. This is high step astrological. This is very article strong. This is systrolium heart very height brooding. This is very good point. Once more this is current action. Astem historical instructions. This is MTA imparticle. Very hate high less argument. This is Astorians. Very Hendrik. This is very higher stage. This is one starring height high portion. This is stopping. This is astral state current action. How won the glopia. This is halt very grooting consulting. This is by Astem that is sight consulting. Very whole consulting, that is the impartial system. This is higher stage. This is consulting. Very halt parting. This is Hendik consulting. Very halt. This is physical state. Higher, high birding, very own article, very astem stalling. This is by building astem storia. Very whole consulting, this is how our own thought. This is by hosting, very hate consulting. This is HR consulting. That how are you do stage up, very Hendik. Heart consulting once more howls storing. This is how Gertie you are impartial, very trans storing. That is the once impartial, very higher stage, very astoricum. This is hergropical, very hilt starring. This is once consulting. This is bowel system, very hilt groading. Very stopical, high astral calcity. This is by warding, very Hendik point. This is MTA action. Sistep hall growing. High astral state, this is very whole consulting. This is how astrory, this is very heartroligum, astral sight. This is starring, very force. Sistre, very hilting particle. This is by whoever hate argument. Very whole horse, that is Cystaglopia by hate ansel, that very ansel. Higher stage, this is by ansel, hate astoring, this is point controlling. Astrolium, this is very Stravel powers. This is by warding, very good rotens. Very hot strolical, very hate Brendic astrolical. How very hate, this is house consulting. How very hot, this is very nut, this is very Grendic whole astrolium. This is by point consulting ansel, very hate, this is point. This is how where grodim. This is how where glorium. Hendik, this step, this is very her grove. High when droke by ansel. This is constrolling, this is very harg. Astroricum, this is wend by grudium. Astrograph, this is very hendik. Systep, very document, this is high warding, this is higher state by wed point. Nistep, howl, argument, astroricum. Tendik, very circle, walk, very good point. Astricum, this is by hare grove thought. How very boarding, this good astroricum. Nistep, higher, this is very was white gropium. Astroricum, very hot, astroricum, very grooding, this is harvestricum compared. High broating, this is high hot consulti, this is Briverly cystogropia. Nate, high consult, very grandic point. Heart breathing, this is my consulting. High, very grandic, own conscious state, this is very birding. Silk, astroricum as consulti. High, friend, all tenantly. Systep, high, Veren glopia. Master, Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Master, CVV Namaskaram. M course continuation. 301 name. Please, Master, this is the consulting birding step. Varji higher stage, own consulti. Step for gropium, our thing. This is high hearting. Health growing, this is by own consulting. Heart consulting, this is own brary thing. Heart violating, very groot point, how argument. Goal grandic. Astep, how Dorians, very health consulting. This is high owner, has whole consulting. This high warding, very birding, very astroricum. This is high consulting, astro Grodian. Astrogropical, this is very birding. Higher gleeth, this is hot astroglopia. Systep, this is by halt astroglopium. Systep, this is by halt astropium. Astopicum. Master. This is heart breathing. This is very systole heart consulting. N heart. This is one storium. Systep very brenthic astoglopia. This is my point asto constoring. This is glowing. Astroricum is Throlia. As biling, this is higher stopium. Systep, this is very astrolicum. This is warding. Cystoglopia, higher stage point. This is very hot point. Ham, mythostopia. This is by argument heart consulti. This is high warding systep storia. This is good astropical. This is high hendic astro consulti. This is by warding heart breathing. This is by consulting. This is 1 hour attend by astrolium. This is very hate imparticle. Cystograph aso consulti. This is very good point. System, this is whole halting, howl halting. Height Drorical. System, this is responsal, hall granthic. Astor, this is higher stage. Master. Good health halt consulti. Cystorium, very correct action. This is vital budding. Astrogrolium. This is Kyverset. This is high budding. Astrolicum, very hate, is Hergrolium. Hate thendic, very star sorting. Hate consulting, very Hergrolium. This is by hate heart consulti. Systep, very Groot hate consulti. This is by Sahasrahara argument. Hergolment. This is by Sahasrahara Hergolment. This is by Hall Storium. This is Hergolium. Halt Storium, high intellect working. This is by whole brain Argolium. One consulti, this is Hastogrolium. This step halt Storium. This is by warding MTA. How are you do Hitogrolia. Howl Hendic Astrogropia. Hergrolium astral storia. Oh, by that is her consulti. This is Howl's storia. High beginning, higher stage, all the grolium. How point. This is my consults. This is high good very heartful point. Higher stage howl starring. This is hate consulting. However, that is the whole point. Astrogropia hate compartment howls Astrolia. This is hate heart consulting howls Storia. This is by Astrolium heart consulting. This is the astral site. Astral storing very impartial. Heart burning very hate point. This is by inner section very haltogropium. This is by consulting very halt brendic. This is very astroricum. This is hate consulting. Howl starring. This is by hate consulting. Good point. This is whole building very astrogrolium groding. Good point. This is very whole building very astrogrolling. This is how halting higher stage. This is slow point. This is hate consulting astral state. This is very halt point. This is howl starring very help consulting. Own consulting. This is very heart brendic. How graphit very astro consulti. This is astro state. This is by instructions. Hall storing very trend point. This is by instructions very whole instructions. This is by MTA instructions. How heart store up. High gallop. This is heart storing. Hall grounding very guard consulting. This is by howl heart astro consulting. Very howl astroricum by height. This is howl responsible. Cystogropia. This is astroricum very hen astroricum. High hate very halt starring. This is howl he storicum. High Hindic astral stravely. This is by birding howl stray colium. Horn calystric. This is by whole hearting. Heart breathing by stopping. Heart beating by stopping. Hate constrailing howl high birding. This is very whole hystriolicum. Kindred sistep haveling. Hate very howl heart storing. This is whole disturb howl hate birding. Sistep growly astrogropia. That fishes heart stroking. System hall guarding very open point. This is get Astrolling by Astro Grupo. This is Hot Cull City. Very hate brawling system starring Howl's system Astrogrolium. Help Hearting Help. This is not consulting very hot higher stage. Master CVV Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Master CVV Namaskaram. Please, Master. 401 name. Please, Master. This is High Hendik Astral Starveling. This is Vastrolium. This is Higher Stage Point. This is Heart Breathing, Very Whole Consulting. High Bowel System, Very Astrogropia. Heart Grendic, Very Hystrolicum. This is Whole Consulting, Very Astral Grolium. Stopping Strolium. This is by consulting. This is Heart Starting, Very Hot Consulting. Hate traveling as cystogropia. Very controlling as starveling. Hate controlling high astro slowing. This is very hot cystrolium. High cystep. This is very circle astrogropia. Halting whole by hasto stopping. Cystep howl holding by is astro how enough. That is good high permissions. Heart actions, that is whole instructions. Very hot consulting, that by fourth actions, that is by Hastroricum, that is higher actions. Very halting gold, that is very whole anything by wholes higher stage instructions. Astroricum, that is very whole current actions, that is instructions. How are do actions, that is very astrorium. Higher stage astra valium, that is what consulting, that is the he astrolium. That higher stage point, very own one action. System argument, one starveling. System hours good argrolling. Once more, this is how argument hate consulting, very how own the point. This is by warding how won the astro groveling, how won the heart, this is very hate consulting, how burning step, haveling heart, groveling hate consulting, this is halt storing by everything step argument, hall grounding, hall grounding, this is by has, how, so, sus, this is very hargrolium, how, have, argly, this is by ari grolium, this is intersection point, how holium, that heart contraveling, this is once more heart consulting very impartial, this is venstavical halt golding, this is hiprovical heart gundrun hot by circle, step not instructions, that is MTA secret, how hold you hen this sky, how war hold you system strike, whole action state sky, how war hold you when the sky, whole hearting hands sky, had you how am this step sky, how ward you hand this sky, halting storing this step state, how actions astral state, whole body physical state, whole you burning actions sky, that consult, ho ye actions strike, that society astrical brendic travel whole halt, well action fourthical higher triple, whole halting by birding y, whole triple halting strike, that portion store warding keep up sky, halt halting compartment sits up actions thought from by answers, that practical howls souls astral actions, how medium that particle transactions, hate salting whole booth actions trancing songs, that actions very howl high birding hall, that actions to medium by actions shown, how when the particle, how budding that, how budding, how halting soul consulting, how brendic, higher, higher thing, slaw of stalling, how are that due, that actions intellect very whole burning, who hendic astral state that halting, hate guarding my starring storing body, how ansel that is high, that actions my whole by instructions, soul body house traveling by process, body stoking by process, high actions whole, hate consulting by portion, whole circle, intellect strong, hate development buddhic, high burning that kanchi, one astral up stood parcel than the action whole persons, hall stopium, how hendi storium, that is halt storium, high halting stop, very soon the high step hall showing by consulting, step argument, how hate brendic, as soul consulting reflection, very halls traveling, by house hate compartment, step howl argument, hate consulting that very shown point, howl hargrolium, this is by soul consulting, by actions, that is as very traveling system, grolgiment, grolgiment master, by actions very shown starting, very shown starring, this is that persons, how actions, that is high burning step traveling heart storing, by hone that consults ansel, that very point, this is by high burning, how whole the step strike, hargrolium stage up strike, that is hargrolical, that is hargical soul halt actions, step trolley whole the like, how hearty breastical strike, how hall the step strike, how horses, lickam, psyche. How halting shown is sky, how birding the step strike. How halting stage up strong. How particle sticken shown. How birding stick up strong. Hastrorium heart stogrudium high graving shown holding by the step soul storing building up. How shown handik. How sons by stone. Master, Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Master CVV Namaskaram. 501 name. Please, Master. How sons by stone, step grinding, halting sons. See grawl howl the stock. So was stock, this is the as stick, salts shown, heart, this is by hog growlement. That consulting, how shows stalking. Master. This is high consulting hand shown sal. Master. By the step howl astrolling, that sand cell hole by consulting. Halt the step very hargul hone sats sal. High grelical shows soul, this is high compartment. This step and soul by storing. How birding hands the step high wasting, this is shown colors. Very high crowned brotting, two colors. This is half colors, this is shown colors. Hound soul harg, bubbles stroke strongium. This is by stoned up light howls blue colors. Very strongly stroyadum. This how convolage you, this is how Hindi not soul the soul. High Horap 16-step hall shown. Sal this step. Antistep how shown. Sal nutting. This is eye soul. In the soul by 10 colors half 10 strong. This step story wording hall. High stone stove storing. This step actions. Very slow howl strong. Very hot slow sound. My particle very actions. One hall very hall by sons. One hall storing the bark. Straw very storing light. This is by when Surya 1000 particle by heart. This is by direct current whole body. Stow Hindi cleans. This one action MTA. This by actions I slow. Hendik stronging. This step slown how actions 1 minute. Show physical high oh, Osical whole particle. One action by particle high in the stop. This is particle how particle you consult. This step actions self in the self. One point. This is heart consulting. This is point MTA. How lab Akarta Hotli Sansle Goa. High lobe Akarta Hatli Sansle Goa. Bairetel Tota Haul Heta. Kalaure Baire Halde. Hosandi Gre Hosandi Re Digil Hai Holta. Kaye Haulta Tume Ban Tota. Digil se Trele San Sasol. Helre Haijawa Tum Karta Naina Son. Bairelre Totaldu Hartingre Bai Sansa. Tel Dela Aerobic Drondra. Hail Re Hail Haul Dekh Do Labai Aure Sastra Dala. सौल रे देख तंदी हौल हेक ट्रिंदी स्ट्रांग रे चीपुल स्ट्रांग तुम्हें देल करता मई परा महापरिनिर्वाणिक तुदे सोन सल्ला रे बाई बवुल हाला तू मुकरता तुम्हें का करता बैरे हाल हाला तुम्हें कल गल चले बैरे चल दोता औरे गाल चेल सोना नैना गेल नल बैरे गाल तोदो बरीक्षता बैरे आव गेलिए तुमा बाई सला बैरे देल तुमा तेन करता सैरे हाव तुमा बावरे बिस्कुत हावले बै हौलिंजी साइले हाई एक्शंस by Stropia. This is Bayal what shown soul, that the shown action how gropium by how landi halstorium bowl astrons bowl astrons 16 grudium by persons hall fully soul the soul this is bargain grolium this is howl action once more hegropiment halt and the sal बाइल सेत स्ट्राइल हौल अंदी सोल दी सोल बार्गिमिटा एस्ट्रोंदी तिस्टेप केविलान तुम्हें तेन तल्ला सौता दे तो बउल हायरे शित्स्यति हारान गोलता वंगीना चल दालता सोलंगीना मरुक्षतु ब्रुतु आल ते देन दौल सोता बैरक्ते सोल सल्पागा देतुम कोणा दाला बैरक्ते सोल सल्पागा देतुम कोना दाला वंदिया गोल गनरकन हेंदरगल सोलार्शा वरिंदिदो मिगरगल नोली वेंतियार जल आर्गल विडाई వింత గుము వంత గుము ఎపోరుగల్ సత్రాగల్ ఎనై గుము சிற்றல் போருள் சிவா மிகம் దంత సర్గంగిలి త్రాంతు కలాల్ ఆర్గుము இல்லாதர ஒரு பொல்லார் பொற வள்ளத்து ஒரியந்தியம் பொல்லாரு போரிரும் చల్లాత్త చెరియం களாத்துக்கினால் சர்க்குணங்களை அணைந்துடுமா வித்ர ஏர்சின் சிலா நஸ்ர வாகைகளை சிஸ்னமாக்கினால் அவை அந்த பொனால் சிஸ்லமாகும் சிரிக்கிற அங்கோலியா பிலாகியா நவுலால் சாவர்கள் காந்த்ராள்களை செல்வியல் எக்கினால் ஃபெர்ரோனு சங்கரியும் இட்ரோதியா சில பிசாத்ருகளை செல்லமாக்கும் யானைந்திரிகள் தைங்கிராள்களை சித்ரோர்கள் చంద్రగాత ఫెరూర్ పొక్కినార్ చిల్లాత సిర్గమేళం కళ్ళాత కర్గమేళం సెట్రూర్ சட்கிராங்கள் வில் தீர் தல்லகள் வளைப்புகளை சிற்றோல் அக்கிறார்கள் வங்கிய வர்க்கமேளம் வனோங்கி ஸ்வர்க்கமேளம் சித்ரோல் ஹாயங்கிப்பார்கள் வர்க்கமேளம் கன்ரட்டு வர்க்கல் சிர்கமேளம் சித்ருடு வர்க்கல் ఆగవైనారి యార్కు సాగ సర్గుణ వర్కు మనోహర భౌతి సేల్ ఫోక సత్వ ద్వితరంజని గ్రక్త మనోరంజన సట్ట మిగ్రపాత్ర వర్గసౌత్వ సర్గద్రేష్ట మనోసట్ట ద్రేత్వ హత్వ భవతి మనోసట్ట భృగితి దద్వేత్వ వినోస్వతి గీర్ఘగ్రోళ్ మా చిత్ర సట్ట హా పుంత్వే తో తిష్ట కృష్ట సత్వదో దహతి భేక్త గృణ్య స్త్రాస్త్రే కన్వి సట్ట షట్రాల్గ త్రోళ్ ఘృత భవతి సత్వతో తిష్ట హెగృత భక్తో నిశ్యాష్టతి హిగ్రో బృస్తతి చిత్ర ద్రోష్ట హగృ సత్వ కృత్వోత్వ భవతి బిక్వత్ త్వష్ట దుష్ట్యతి తత్వదిరోగ్యతి సద్గ్రోష్టతి దృష్ట్య పితృ మద్రిష్ట్రాత్ సత్రోష్ట్రాత్ త్రోల్గ మిగ్ర హమ్య శీఘ్ర సత్వ ద్రైష్టత్వు గ్వ బిగ్వ హోమ్యం దృగ్రత్ హన్యోభవ బిగ్రత్వ గిష్యావత్ అహమ్య బిగ్రత్ ద్వేష్ట హౌ హర్గోల్యం సురోచిత్వ This is high granting, very circle, Anson's Paul, Anson's Saul, howls strong, very step grodians, high drop it, very by howl ansel, by step storium, very tie consulting, Saturn sons very strong boy, howl sadrigium very testul point, hyath convenience drostopium, hone article, this is one particle by Stephensons, grade drorium, death by stones in self, by information, how agreement, by information, howl agreement. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. అబ్జర్వ్. నమస్కారం. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. 601 నేమ్ 601. ప్లీజ్ మాస్టర్. సిస్టమ్ సిల్వర్ హార్వెస్టింగ్ స్ట్రేంజింగ్ strike. Then is very Hagrian's win is very Systepstoria. This is by convenience, very that hath convenience. By inner section, halting half soul in consulting this by Brodium. High point, this is the consulting halting storium. This is by inner section halting soning sons. Once more consulting, this is by every halting source. Very breath, bardium, information, very songs in songs. This is howl wordium, this is information. Very hall storium, this is in very barking bark. This is how consulting very beat tandri stock. Very bubble stones, this is how Hendik very confirmation. That Han convenience very impartial. By permission, this is how are you do impartial. Halt grooding, this by law of karma, this is by inner section fatting by stop. High convenience very broating, howl sense article. This is high convenience very impartial. Hate in self heart consulting very growl brodium. By impartial understanding impartial. Howl Hendik particle very convenience. This is by information very halt stanky. By particle self in self article. Hate convenience by portions, this is halting store. Howl hating, this is by heart particle. Very threat bodium, very that brodium, howl and the stalking. This is high storium hearting controlians. By motion very language stanwing stock. Very that bolium high solsing stalking starp. One system by Hogrium. This is howl action very high portions. By anything halt soul sons. This high birding, this is information acting store up stock. Very good consulting halting hours solving sons. Very hate consulting good by portions, howl petroleum, high portion very step ours soulings strong, by very hating, by very hating ours something by souls, good convolving, good consulting, halt very hate brendik, once more halt this step solving ours పోలింగ్ వెరీ డిస్ట్రోగ్రోలియా. తలుపులు వేసేయండి ఆ కిటికీవి, వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడుకుంది మనకెందుకు. once more halt this step polling ours folding very distrogrolia, very hate brendik halt sown by inner section, hate consulting this by pulsing suns halt, by portion action this is very good halting, tendrik halt by very information, that by traveling sonsing suns very hate consulting, how one point the consult solving strong, by good hate howls very by gropia, very traveling soulsing up down strolling selfing self, high very tendrik halting portion solving strong, by inner sections audience very good power solving self. The hearting very histralium very hate tendrik by portions consulting, very boyous importion very halting sense straulium very high burdians, Hagdians then by Sistrolians, very hot consulting this is by howl sonsing self, by oursing selfing self halting sons, very Bordians this step holding sonsing self, high hate consulting one action very hearting, by phono sounds actions very strong by portions, sistep phonsing this step halting very hate grudium, high hendik birding howl building sonsing son strong up, very hate consult halting very by portions, persons halting sons sons, Hogralium by when the brodium, master heat by persons bit actions, heat by persons that actions, by Vistralium argently 16 persons, very hagtum by portions, the by hating strong strawn up, very hot birding thistep storium, very breathing sown self ancillary grudium, by portions every stronging sown self, how particle good hating, high birding strong up sons selfing, by hate consulting very hogrium, by information hate tendik very by portions, this step once more consulting very starting strong, but hate good consulting very brooding strong, very by sonsing strong, that by whole halting sonsing son, very hate grudium, that by portions very consulting, once more Vistrolium, that by persons sonsing self, high Vistrilium, sown by sown high sanging self, by information halting selfing grudium. By information halt by 16 persons, tooth by one sangings, heart, very groot tie hate consulting, once more very Fayave article very that grudium, 16 sieve article very hot tendrik, very high brolium sanging self in self, very how persons sonsing instructions, beat by consulting time mahanirvanic action, that self in self, by brodium howl hangs, that very by portion sanguine self, hate consulting very streeful actions, by 16 portion very tendrik, nextium by portions very sanguine halt, very threat portions very good point, tie by howl that portions, whole halting by sons consulting, Trilinga grounding howls high, hate ing tendrik solsing hang, when the traveling sonsing key. Master Namaskaram, Master CVV Namaskaram. Observe. Namaskaram. Master CVV Namaskaram. Please, Master. 701 name. 701 namam. Please, Master. Venturing, halting, sensing, stray. Howling, boarding, birding, high. Self in ansel, straighting, strike. Barding, selfing, sensing, strike. Sonsing, howling, tendrik, hike. Hagrant, halting, self in self. By Harg, Wellsting, Harding, sons. O persons stranging when the dread grudium. Howl sounds by halting. Very beat hate consulting Hindu tie portions. One bardium, once poetry. O hating, halving by. Barding, sonwing, selfing high. Hate, tendric, persons high. Hearting, stronging, howls high. Hating that thing, souls so high. Very hating, songwing high. Very hating, songwing five. One bardium, self in self. One actions by striking up. Second Paramanu, very force begin article. That higher stage point, this is self in self article. That very Paramanu force centers. Second Paramanu, higher stage course begin. That is the master higher point, very controlling, very hate. Howl soul up, self in the self. Hearting, very force centering. That is howl action, very 100 strike. Very 100 strike. This is by information. How action consult. Up in the begin up. That permission power article. That is how when the power movement force action. Howl and the circle by portion. Bowl and the actions. How point the action birding portion. How boy is hendik store jing. Howl and the hola. Hatte he glomi tume mai kartam manitam. Howl and the souls in the sala. Master. Hane hattanto పొట్టంతోతి తాళ 29. హానే హోనే హట్టంతే ఫోన్తి తాళ సోలంది సలంది సౌలంది సాల హో हांगली तुम्हें करता मई एक्शंस बहुलंदी भक्ति खेलता तुम्हें पानी very good article pick out and the article by Son Singh Sal my permission. Bahakta ha ho hela हाय हाय हौलंदी सोला डांसिंग सानविंग्स Haulandi Sola. Shartamdi Maramdi. Coot Rudium bowel portion, heart and the action. This is how nerves article very circle this step portion. Howl and the action. Howl and the bottle, hut on the turtle, high in the stopping, shake in the sanction. Howl in the sanction, heart in the brooding. That is P Paramanu, high consulting, down in the P Paramanu system, very Hatlandi, how broodium but rudium. How article, very information, high souls in the sangwing, self in the self. How hardians, very howling, half controlling, that Mahamal Hestrolium. How brethalical, by movement, how lindi heart bardium. How solus, howlanchi heartens, baulanchi buttons, tum hikte do tala, haurangina swingina dala, janaranji sanketam bolti, hargeyam, vinarshanam, sastitam. Sarvedam, Anurjanam, Nirmanam, Vivarjanam, Nivarjanam, Siddhakandyam, Siddhitam, Sitarjitam, Sitarjinam, Sarverjinam, Nakrorjitam, Anurdrutam, Anupadam, Asvahetam, Anugratam, Basmayoryam, Vivarjanam, Pravarjanam, Prakurutam, Prakanoryam, Vanita Drushti, Votmarogyam, Manositi, Manomaya, Manoketa, Manobhuta, Manosita, Manokara, Manobhavati, Manokanda, Manonishta, Manosarva, Manorvanji, Manorbhita, Manopata. Manopatati, Manobhakti, Manomurkham, Manoranji, Manokorvam, Manohetmam, Manohasta, Manorahai, Manorahi, Manosrushti, Manotkanta, Manorbhakti, Punarjvananam, Punarvajanam, Ashleshitam, Astitakanditam, Visarjitam, Visvakandyam, బతార్జనం విర్సిబర్జం అంగీరసం. మాస్టర్ నమస్కారం. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. అబ్జర్వేషన్. నమస్కారం. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. ప్లీజ్ మాస్టర్. 808వ నామం. ప్లీజ్ మాస్టర్. హౌ లెసన్స్ బై ఇంపార్టికల్ దట్ హౌ ది సోల్స్ బై ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్. హౌ యాక్షన్ హేట్ గ్రెంథిక్ ప్రాసెస్. హౌ లించి యాక్ట్రన్స్ soul up travelling. But my name howl Landi, very stalking star up. Height fate hastened uprodium. That how brooding hearting selfie in the self. Master. My jorsing, harving, grooting, tuck. Hey, change up, carcal, brought down. Hey, grooting, darting, tote. How build up, braiding, tout. Hey, soul up, sunwing, daughters, goody, good. Hey, soul up, sunwing, daughters, good. How Nathan's Lynchen, barting, hate. How Nyatting, pension. How Knotting, shunshan, Vignes state. How Broughton's actions down. Heart consulting, but cage up 3 yactical, howl the soul up. This is Paramanu centers of MTA. Master. Up to the P Paramanu crores centers. Heart brooding down the up. Rajah Nama Sanketam. Baveldi Haketam. Bittadi Pingali Dol Varaku. Hanketam. పునర్వశం. పూర్వకాంతం. పుణ్యశ్రేష్టం. హగ్రమీర్తం. శుగ్రహస్తం. మిగ్రహార్తం. మిష్మకాండం. మితీర్థం. హగ్రోజనం. సూర్యకాంతం. శుక్రతీర్థం. సిగ్నతశ్రేష్ఠి. సైట్ ఆస్టికం. దిస్ సెల్ఫ్ in the self action, consulting very free article, master. Half fast to separate cage course, but astricum roast shastricum. How Groot bowl lunch heart storing, by pick out or in the store up. Nakurta Suddha Kandya, that how controlling act build up. Soul arms hat store up. Article that nerves centers. Very launch stripical build up. Soul hate nonsense. तुम करता mind तेलता hall loka. Karta highly my license. That argument jubhuta nishkapata manomaya. Sarvajanas sakrutam arogyam nishkapatam. Ho harorgi maite chal chata. Ekan grostita hai gola. Hakti nischayam nischayam. Prete stita karastigyam. Karastiktam. Prete stita karastiktam. Magra markatam harogya stitam. Sutra kandyam hatkarudyam. High controlling hearting storing souls the kai. Up to the atom soul is the sky. O abregyata. O prai kurti. O pai kurti. O manor sravati. Ekta system mind atom. Atom the intellect whole and the wordiums. Thousand bark and the tollus action. Very souls in the heart in the self in the self. High controlling totan the golding. Hey information high mentally state action. Very imparticle very beginning action. Very souls in the self in the self. Very information very coarse article. Root is very coarse action, that is the yes. That sinus half that by process. That is the one stalking root reign of mentally portion that begin article. How by engines forcing power you article and the by strictions silver. Hating up story up. Good and the store up. Howlanchi her up. Stricken the silver up and the atom. Hargan the magnetizing up and the forcible. Step bottom. Hara teyati manoranjani manokirti. That P Paramanu power to body, that Paramanu to action, that is higher stage free consulting. To the mind system, hate Satra Bayari. Hake it but are due process bit system article good importicle by business. Ditchness. Hake it but due or due process but sisters article good importicle by ditchness. Nirvanic portion up to the process. How barding Tartak sanction that nirvanic process. Up circus how that net you master CBV namaskaram. Observe. Namaskaram. Master CVV namaskaram. Please master. Up circus how that net you but pedicle growth nirvani nishat storing but and the good consult high process slow continue phono sound but birding heart tropical hate circle good self in the permission Harry Gritam Sitam Sitam Bhavati Tat Pariyam process very golding heart consulting begin that one permission 10.5 process 10.5 talude hate action howl master namaskaram that one permission 10.5 process 10.5 talude 10.5 talude hate action howl and the heart growth down lint by particle that is 10.4 but actions how when the paramanic growth authority that kundalini action mahaparamanic process system her lineth howls why how when the hate and the world weak but and the dictions harden the breath how impartment how lynchy but authority how land the reasoned but ara that very sick sheep body mahaparanirvanic that p paramanu process begin that article that hate portion but begin force action how consulting that importment this is how lynch hardiment but how contravailing system hate gradical waste attach system rude predical how come pairs how bevel that sound produce good article net selfing graph how authority that portion that is the action process that my gained how lynch that process council gratuity how lynch harding store how lynch but circle good process hating ingi halt hating halt stylock silk and the how lies the strike how physicist groot it strong hate very sense how lynch but that how lynch but good portion how circle 2 point we want bubble action how lynch strongy action how golding that breath typical mind heart whole loka haulandi that paramanu action how good how very favoring good how very wavering how that point consult the broating how lunch we hold broating we store but star typical how store up good process physics how controlium but how circle that produce whole good mind that you useful greeting further mind predical meant good and the good selfie create marchly 15 months that self in the self how lynch attachment native wording system store lynch but nirvanic triple produce vradi jet system haste nishin haste good process synship that atom how system mind good bulb this how lynch mild and the predical mind physics greedy grood melf and the fishing consults good once more very hate and the very brooding process my body life very slow lynch atom good process very hate consulting my body flow lynch attachment master hate and the cull golding meant typical howl brought hate and the cull golding meant typical howl brought 10 circle bubble stop it good and self in the self whole body mind active full very strong slow action melting process good and the hate once more wording howl and the hate storium bevel good action net you havel in the state you stout net you hevel in the stout you but diamond stipate, argument, TORUV, howl, produce, good argument, but third create process, SROUVW, but and V, good, third atom, 16th 1 week 13th day, 30th May 1911. First atom, monthly wake, upstate Howell-Inchi attachment. Howell U process, third atom authority process, that MP nirvanic, Howell solus, good nervous actions, very good, and the Lynch by phono sound, hate sections, high trap it, Howl and the Parthic, but predical 2 horse by Harrow Drak, Nishit Shishu Hara Groha Sheshi, keep branch that telephone, diarape very 16 store, but motion heart strike very best mine fit. How strip merry sense stock, how good telly this is quereth. Whereas shakeness, stove downing, how stand up, dreath, socked, to tripet, branch, high John, empty carisons. Up was secreate, finish to stock, Nashin nut, parliament, threat, argument, good, Lynch attachment. How Nishit judge you, create, N physical, haunt, nephew, but roading, tract, you, strishit, compared. Good, Karash, sky, grass, Mrs. Pure stock, much very grossed. Gradish, meekness, die, attachment, Varishan, 16, airful, Marpakam Nishit. Air, Gradish, meekness, die, attachment, Varishan, 16, airful, Marchakam Nishit. 16, circle, very how, golding, imparticle. Hate, very gradish course, binocular, much but night, nirash. Liply mind, very gradeth, sheath, message, Marorath. This is how Lynch, but compared, very how system attachment of absent. Now present course attachment, get out, and the argument that permission, high vowel permission. तुम हरगति सुमनि गति दे तेन, तुम हरगत सुमनि गति दे तेन ओंगलितु ओंगलितु ओ हंदु दीक्षकेर देंगते बार्तु बलोली मैले मूल शुद्धि यतेंजु ननुग्रह शस्त्र विरोत्रो मनोबंध वेद गोत्रम विनोरंजितम मनोरथम मनोशरकम नेत्रदीर्यम निद्रदोकम निदे तत्व निजोरति विजयम विजयम तनुग्रह विजयन्ते वीक्षणंबु विनिवितु नेतुन विरणेल वय विरिతంబులు వాటిని విక్రోర్తంబు విరీక్షితం వల్ల అహో రాజాను రోదింద్ర మనోహరతి మనోకాంత నిద్రపూర్ణ మనోదిలతి కాజక్షేత్ర రమణీయ మహాభోక్తి. నిద్రపూర్ణ మనోశిలతి కాజక్షేత్ర రమణీయ మహాభోక్తి. సుకృతంబు శ్రేష్టనంబు ధైర్యంబు హితు పనిన వాక్కుయన్నియు చేరవలయును. మాస్టర్ నమస్కారం. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. ఎందుకు ఎంతసేపు ఇవ్వాలా? ఇంకొక 1000 ఉన్నాయి, 1006 ఉన్నాయి. మాస్టర్ నమస్కారం. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. మాస్టర్ సివివి నమస్కారం. స్టోర్ లోటస్. ఈ ఎం కోర్సు ఇప్పటి వరకు 1000 నామములు అయినవి. తర్వాత జనరల్ ప్రేయర్ ఉంటుంది. ఈ లోపల కొంచెం రిలాక్స్ అవ్వచ్చు.